like the eternal city that is Rome, where the ecclesiastical splendor of the Renaissance completely enthralls the imagination. The dome of St. Peter's rises upwards like a heavenly choir. From the topmost pinnacle, the centuries that are Rome spread out in everlasting significance.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good feast day of St. Benedict. I actually got off work today since I work at a Benedictine monastery. But we'll be talking to John C. Preiss, the current president of the Fatima family. So, John, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Well, you did. No one ever gets it right, so you did pretty good there.
Yeah, I guess being in the South, it was easy for me.
Well,
so, yeah, John, how long have you been with the Fatima family organization?
Well, let's see. That's been a long time. I started out in 2007. I started doing some stuff with Father Fox, who was our founder. He had passed away now, but I started doing some things with him, helping him, and I got involved and started writing some articles. He used to have a magazine called the Immaculate Heart Messenger, and I would, do some different things with him and wrote some articles about family life. I have 10 children, by the way, so
oh wow.
I was doing some family life articles, and because he didn't do a lot of that kind of stuff, and so I started just really trying to getting into it, and in 2008, Father was diagnosed with bone cancer, and he was, getting sicker, and he really kind of wanted a priest to take over and to run the apostolate, but he just couldn't really find the right fit. So as I became more, we became closer.
Mm-hmm.
He came to me and asked me if I would like to be the president and continue things when he passes away, and I said yes. I prayed about it. I said, Father, I need to pray about this, and I went before the Blessed Sacrament, and some miraculous things were happening really with it, and I won't share that today, but it really gave me some. Sometimes you're wondering, is this the right thing to do, or
yeah,
how that gets. You're kind of like, this looks good, but I don't know. I mean, everything sounds good, looks good. It's a big endeavor, you got to think that out. This is really kind of a lifetime commitment. I remember telling my wife,
mm-hmm.
and she really was kind of upset about it in a way, because she knew that it would take me a little bit away from the family, because there's some obligations and things that I have to do. But I felt like, you just had that feeling, and you felt like the Holy Spirit, the Blessed Mother, really just gave you that firm yes. And so here I am. And since 2007, I was the vice president. 2008, became the president, and Father, he passed away in 2009. So,
mm-hmm.
So we're still trickling along. We had some ups and downs throughout the years, doing some great things. Working on some book projects and things like that. But it's a challenge, everything. When you get into religious media, as you're starting to find out too, with some of the endeavors you're working with, it's a slow process, finding people, finding money, finances to continue, because you have certain bills and things that you have to pay to. And so it's just, it's a challenge, but when it's for the right reason, it makes it definitely worth it. So.
Yeah. So do you have like any good experiences like through all of your years as being the president, like any really grace-filled moments that have come from your efforts?
Yeah, I think so. I think probably there's a couple of situations that I can remember that really, really was touching for me. I think one time I was giving, there's 2 times I went out to speak at some different places, right? One was in Michigan, and it was for their diocesan 100th anniversary of Fatima, which is in 2017.
Yeah.
And there was 800 people there. And I had to give, I was the main speaker, had to give 3 different talks to the group. And I remember kneeling down by the Blessed Sacrament and just really thanking God for this opportunity, and to be able to be here, because it's funny. It's like, people that do things for the Lord are not always the ones that make the best grades in school or have the PhD in theology. Yeah, so I'm kind of that guy, I'm kind of the guy that the Mother Angelica, that's this poor nun who starts an organization with $200, and that now they have to get $60 million a year just to run it. So you can see the impact. And I'm not saying I'm her, but you feel these moments that come to you. One was I went to Indiana about 3 years ago, and I spoke to close to 2,000 teenagers about the message of Fatima. And I brought, at our museum here, we had the Father Robert J. Fox and Our Lady of Fatima Museum, which is here in Hanceville. I brought the first class relics of Saints Jacinta and Francisco, two of the little shepherds from Fatima. And so the children, which the youth, they're high schoolers, I guess they're not children, but the youth, they got to experience this, and to see them go up and really venerate the relics and stuff, that touched me, and and then I think the third thing that I can remember too is writing the books. I really enjoyed writing, even though I failed ninth grade English. I like to. That's what I'm telling you. You just don't know when you say yes, you just don't know what's going to happen. But anyhow, writing the books really, it was touching because, like, I remember on Amazon, you get reviews when you have the book up there, and just seeing all the positive reviews. One was, this book brought me closer to understand the role of the Blessed Mother. One was I became Catholic because of this book. So, that stuff like that, you just can't, I got to keep doing what I'm doing, even though sometimes it feels like a burden. Sometimes if you're doing it for free, so you're just really, those things like that, that's what keeps you going, and realize that, this is needed, and our Lord and Our Lady are using you to do whatever they want to do, not what you want to do, but what they want you to do. So that's all I do. I just do my own little way, like Saint Teresa, the little flower, and we're not no huge organization. We're just out here doing our little part. So, but yeah, there's many blessings throughout the years, but those three really kind of stick out. So
yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing. And I relate to that a lot. So I was a introvert in high school, introvert in college, but now I'm doing a podcast. So really, you're right. The Lord just takes you where you're at and then does something you wouldn't even imagine yourself doing. So I had a friend.
I had a friend one time that told me, he said, because he knew me when I became the vice president. We had built this building downtown, and it was like a Fatima Center, and I had to talk in front of the group, and I wanted to do it, but I didn't have the skills to do it. I was afraid, then the people that was there, there's nuns there and priests and, all these people. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I can handle it. Started getting a panic attack before I got out there. And he knows me now, and he knew me then. He said, it's just amazing to see the transformation from that day to how you are now. But it all is a process, I remember one time I used to love when they call and say, let's do a radio interview. Somebody called me because I've done a lot of radio interviews over the years. One time Vatican Radio had called and I'd done an interview. But early on, when I first became the president, somebody called that year to do an interview. And I said, sure, I could do that, no problem, Well, I didn't know that they're kind of like anti-Catholic a little bit, people. It wasn't like a Catholic station, and I didn't really know that. So they started hitting me with all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness. They said, we need to go to a break. And I I ran out of my office and I went and got a bunch of books, and I'm like trying to find this information in these books, and I wasn't ready. You know, sometimes you're not ready and you think you are. And just because you have a title in front of your name, president of the Fatima Family Apostolate, that doesn't mean that you know everything about Fatima, you know. And that's how I felt when I went into that interview. Now I know pretty much everything because I've had 15 years of training, you know. And so it's kind of interesting how you think you'll go through those learning curves, you know, over the years, and really it's interesting how that works out, you know. So
yeah. So you mentioned a few books. Like, what are these books about? Your books? I'm guessing that's my
So the main so I've done a children's book, and it's called now you got me on the spot here. Children's book. Let's see here. What was that one called? The Miracle of the Dancing Sun at Fatima. The Miracle and what we did is a beautiful workbook, and it's based off this film that Father had written. Father had written a script for this film called The Day the Sun Danced, and it's a children's film, and it was put out by CCC of America. Well, we got with their people and our people, and we sat down and we said, can we use the images? So they agreed that we can use the images, and we were able to enhance them and make them better because the film was done back in the early 80s. And we had the technology to make the characters look better. And so we did a workbook. I did the workbook. I wrote the workbook, and then we chose the pictures and lighting and things like that. And what we did with these, we wanted to teach Fatima to the school children. So we got donations and gave away, I think, 15,000 copies of that book.
Oh, wow.
And, so it's in all different schools. It was in different schools and things like that. The next book I did was just a little prayer book. I wish I didn't have it over here, but a little prayer book on the Fatima message and the different prayers from the angel, from the Blessed Mother, and different novenas and chaplets and things like that. And then the last book I did was in 2017, around the 100th anniversary, and it was called The Miracle and the Message, 100 Years of Fatima. And that Our Sunday Visitor, the Catholic organization, published that one. And it was an Amazon bestseller for a while, so it did pretty well.
Yeah, congrats.
So it was exciting. You know, that was exciting times, and I still get good feedback from the book. So we're working now that you're talking about that. I'm in contact right now with Our Sunday Visitor, and so Father Fox, our founder, wrote 50 books. So we're working on. They just Pope Francis came out and made Sister Lucia. So she's the third seer. She's the one that lived to be 93. So the two children, Jacinta and Francisco, they died at 7 years old and 9 years old. But Lucia, she lived to be in her 90s, I think 93. And so we have this book, The Intimate Life of Sister Lucia. So Pope Francis just made her venerable. So her canonization process is escalating right now. So I'm in the works of redoing this book and re-editing it, taking things out. It's kind of thick. I don't like them so thick.
Yeah, it's a long book.
And they have interest in it. So this could be another book that I'll do. I'll probably be the author, and Father Fox would be mentioned as using his material, because it needs to be all updated, reformatted, and things taken out and things added to. We have to add from her death up until now, the way the world and the different, the things that are happening. So anyhow, that's kind of exciting. I just learned that today. So
that'd be a great book to release. I'm sure that'll be a bestseller.
Yeah, the neat thing, it has letters, private letters and stuff that she had written, received. So it's some pretty good stuff in there. So
talking about Fatima, like where did your interest in Fatima really come from? So you're actually a convert, you were telling me before the show. How long did it take you to like learn about Fatima and to like believe in Fatima?
Well, I think, like anything in the church, our goal is to believe that the Eucharist is the body and blood, and that is that is the main focus of our faith. That's the epitome of it, because Jesus is truly present in the Blessed Sacrament, So that's kind of like every Catholic, that is it, But we have these extra devotions, devotions that can bring you closer to Jesus, devotions that can bring you closer to God and to really expand on your faith. And I think that's what Fatima does. And I think really just knowing Father Fox, that was the first step, because, when you go visit him, all he talked about Fatima this and Fatima that. And I'm like, I know a little bit. I was already doing they got the first Saturdays, the 5 first Saturdays, we had this little booklet. And I was already doing that, we were praying the rosary every night. We were already doing that. So it was a pretty easy walk-in for me. But I really got interested through him and his work and really the deeper meaning. Sometimes there's a surface meaning to a devotion or an apparition, but there's also deeper spiritual, meanings and things. And I think that's when it became part of my spiritual life, that's when it really changed for me. Wearing the brown scapular, Our Lady said to wear the brown scapular to show that you belong to her. It's an outward sign that we belong to the Blessed Mother. So that's why we should wear the brown scapular. Praying the rosary, one of the main aspects of the message, when Our Lady appeared, pray the rosary every day for peace. And
pray the rosary.
Yeah, she didn't say, she didn't say pray it like every once in a while. She said pray it every day. And so we've been doing that, and so that's part of the devotion. Doing the 5 first Saturdays. You only have to do it one time, but I do it perpetually. Mm-hmm. I go to first Saturday every Saturday. That's first Saturday I go. So it's a perpetual first Saturday. And what I love about the first Saturday devotion, which I think is going to be the next biggest thing on Fatima, that our church needs to make this a universal devotion, kind of like Divine Mercy, for instance. Everybody knows Divine Mercy Sunday, right? Well, they need to know First Saturday, because this is what the triumph of the Immaculate Heart, which means the first Saturday brings us to a closer connection with Jesus, because I call it the CARE program: Confession, Adoration, Rosary, and Eucharist. That's the first Saturday devotion. Mm-hmm. So that is the most important aspect of the message is the first Saturday devotion, because we're trying to get to the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and to get to that, we had to do the first Saturday devotion, which is Rosary, praying the Rosary, Adoration, Confession, and the Eucharist. So that's that's kind of where that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, it's stronger now than it was 5 years ago, because I understand it better. As you go through life. I mean, there's some easier devotions to kind of jump on, Miraculous Medal. I like that. I like the Benedict Medal. I got them all over the place. We got them in our house above the door. You got to use, the problem today is people are not using the sacramentals. The world is falling apart. There's evil, this transgender stuff, all this stuff happening. We've got Benedict medals. We got blessed salt, exercise salt. We've got holy water. We've got the devotions to the Blessed Mother, the blood of Jesus devotions. We have deliverance prayers. We've got to use all this today. We know we can't hold any of these weapons back. We have to really get focused, and every family should be doing more than what they're doing if they're really concerned about the way the world's going, the society today. So
yeah, you have to go all in, as you can
that's
see in
right.
the apartment.
It's not just going to Sunday mass anymore.
Yeah.
That worked about 50 years ago, a little bit, but you can see the kids that came out of that.
Mhm.
Our parents, and most of my parents weren't Catholic, but they did allow things. They were lighter on issues that they shouldn't have been light on. And so now we're facing the consequences of all this. So, and now we're trying to have to fix it, but I think we're getting too late where divine intervention is going to have to take place. God's really going to have to do something, because it's getting to a point to where uh, all we can do is pray. All we can do is pray, but the devotions can really help. In this protection, the protections that we have, in the church, the tools, the instruments, the sacramentals. So I encourage everybody to really use it every night. Holy water every night. I'm telling you, every night in this day and age.
Keep it in the font by the door.
Yeah.
Or I keep
Yeah.
some in my room as well.
Every night you have to use that. Bless your doors too with it. Your exit door. Because we go. People. You get to the point to where you sound kind of crazy sometimes, but things come into the house. I'm telling you. With kids, I have to watch everything. It's very difficult to be a parent today. Like the kids are going to the movies today. They're going to go watch Indiana Jones, the new Indiana Jones movie.
I didn't know there was another one out.
Yeah, he's 80 years old. I don't know what he can do, but they probably got him out there in a wheelchair running around or something. But I said they know that they can't go and watch they can't go and watch the what's that before they play? I can't even think.
Yeah, I'm not a movie guy.
Yeah, what they play before they play the
just
upcoming
like
movies.
Yeah, commercials, I guess.
Yeah, the upcoming movie. But my kid, they're not allowed to watch that before the movie because it's usually trashy stuff.
Exactly.
Even some of these Catholic movies that they're redoing, I'm so happy they're doing movies, but they throw in stuff that the secular world likes. Why do you do that? Now I can't even take my family to go see Padre Pio.
Yeah, I was about to mention that one. I heard
It's
about
Father
that.
Stu. I can't take him to see Father Stu. This new one with Sound of Freedom with Jim Caviezel. I don't think there's anything that's in there that you see visibly that was like really bad, but what's happening.
Yeah,
Kind of thing. So what we did on that one was we want to support it, but so I just bought tickets and we didn't go. I bought 7 tickets and we didn't go.
Yeah,
so
that's really.
Always, but most parents are like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, go out and do whatever."
Yeah,
everybody's doing it, and it's Indiana Jones and all that. That's fine. Just go watch it, that's a Catholic movie, Padre Pio. Yeah, just go watch it. And they're saying curse words and things, and nudity is in it. It's just I just don't understand it.
You're on a really good point right here. Just and it all ties back together. Just that immersing yourself in Christian culture, and then the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Like it really will take that transformation. Just Christians living a fully Christian lifestyle. So that's at all times, at all places, and exactly like media. It's a really terrible thing. That's why I don't really have a TV in this entire apartment. I can, of course, watch stuff on the computer, but just the TV, it's really filled with just filth.
I think, and I think that's why it's important that what you're trying to do with the media that you're doing.
Yeah,
we have to do something. Whatever your strengths are in, or whatever if you're a tech guy, that's my problem. I got to figure everything out, and I get frustrated with tech. My kids do better than I do on tech stuff, but but you got to find where are you at, what are you passionate about, and how can you serve the Lord with that passion?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to do more of today. And then we got to be stronger. A lot of times where the liberal people or the evil people can do whatever they want. And only they could get 3 people together and they can burn down, they can do whatever they want. But we get 3 conservatives together and we're still sitting in a room somewhere trying to figure out what we're trying to do,
Yeah.
So I don't understand. It's just we got to really do some soul searching and really do some adoration. I tell you what, adoration in front of the Blessed Sacrament can really, it can change your life. It can change your life. If you got something that you're really dealing with that's either good, bad, or ugly, just go to adoration. Give it all to Jesus right there. Spend time with him in adoration. And I'll tell you what, I've experienced that personally with somebody that I know that I'm close to. And their progress of going to adoration for a year after going through a deep depression and coming out of it without any medication, just by going to adoration. So,
God.
So it's pretty awesome to see something like that, and how the power of God and his mercy, his mercy too.
Yeah, and that's really one of the things that really, after I came into the church, confirmation, I started going to daily mass, not every day, but just mass during the weekdays, and then going to adoration every Friday. Just like those things, I guess, like to get away from just the Catholic who only goes to mass on Sunday morning and never does anything else. Like, they don't live in a Christian environment. They don't have icons in their house, or they live as if they were like a secular person. They're going to the movies, partaking in all these secular activities that are really just that'll cut someone off. It'll lead them down the wide road, all of these strange paths, rather than just the straight and narrow road, which all the saints went down. So yeah, it takes one saint to change the world, to really avert all of these chastisements, and to fill the world with graces. Just one good saint. So yeah, that's a very good point. Just kind of, and that's really my organization's entire purpose, like taking it in the nonprofit route. That would be the purpose, to connect and sponsor. So like that's the first thing, to connect people, and then you just kind of have to give them that initiative. Say, give them money to go out there and do something, or just kind of give them that social media basis. Really, that's another thing I've noticed. Like I actually just kind of visited the local Catholic organizations in my nearby city. It's like a lot of them, they're run by old people. Not to be rude, you're not too old, so you wouldn't take it in a bad way. Yeah, they just don't see the need for like social media or the internet. It's like they're losing out on a lot of advertising, like a lot of evangelization, really, to bring
a lot of free stuff, a lot of free advertising too. It's not like it don't cost you anything, and that's important, to find out a way that you can. I mean, nowadays, if you look back, I mean, even 5 years ago, what we can do now compared to be able to reach the people we can reach without having that $15 million studio, it's amazing what we can do now.
Yeah. So I guess that really, that applies to both of our organizations. We have like an immense potential just to reach people in this new frontier of evangelization. It's not discovering another continent as Christendom did in the early like 1500s or whatnot. I'm bad with my years, but yeah, we're just we have a new method, really, not a new continent, but a new method. So we really, all of us Catholics, have to come together, organize, and then go out there and spread the gospel. Yeah, because the secular world is already doing it. They're teaming up. They're building up their organizations, coming together. So yeah, we have to catch back up. And
I think a lot of it is we're behind, so much that, and then sometimes people get discouraged to where they feel like there's not an opportunity there, to do anything. Sometimes we get discouraged. We're like, I'm just me. What can I do? But with these platforms, and with something like you're trying to do with this, with your organization there, it gives people opportunity. And I think if they can see an easy way to make the opportunity happen, I think they'll do it. And the more voices you get out there doing things, the better, the more variety of information you're getting, plus you're getting them to do something, then, when you do something like this, like today, I'll be like, wow, I talked to this guy Michael today, and, we're talking about evangelization and doing this. I'll be telling somebody this later on, guarantee it, It's just what happens, it's just, you got to make it contagious. You got to make this contagious to where, man, I want to do that. I want to make a difference in my own little way. And you can make a difference. We have the opportunities today, and we have to take advantage of it, because guess what? The enemy is taking advantage of it in every aspect. So we have to do our part and take advantage of it and bring good information, good content.
Yeah. So someone once told me that whenever you try to do something good in the church, you always get resistance. So that's kind of how it's good. It's like a good measure.
You'll get a lot of that.
But you really just have to, like, the demons are bluffing. You just have to keep pushing, and eventually you'll go further than you even predicted. So like, what do you think is the inspiring message of Fatima? Like, what's the legacy of Fatima that gives Christians hope in the year 2023?
Well, I think really, the message is a message of hope, and it's always been a message of hope, because over the centuries, we said the Blessed Mother has appeared in different locations, and it gives us hope that even at Fatima, just the nucleus of it is our Catholic faith. Like I said before, confession, adoration, rosary, Eucharist. That's the Catholic faith right there. Fatima is like it's a teaching apparition. It's a catechetical apparition, and so it's timeless. There's no time frame on this, because it is what we're dealing with every day in our life. It's our spiritual life of. You take Fatima out of it, take the Blessed Mother out of it, and it's what we do at Sunday Mass, right? We get there early. We may be sitting in the pew and praying, adoration, right? We go into Mass. We're offering up, like, one of the big things at Fatima was prayer, penance, and sacrifice. We're offering up our prayers. We go to confession. We're doing penance. We just sacrifice. We're making sacrifices for others. Like if you're not feeling well, or you're going to offer that up for somebody, and it's like a community thing. Our church is a community where I'm talking to you, but you're getting something from this. I'm getting something from it. I want to go to somebody else. We're the body of Christ. We're all one body, and it's amazing how. The message of Fatima, it's one of the, there's a lot of apparitions out there, but this is the one that kind of really, on a spiritual level, it's our Catholic faith, and it's a message of hope that we have, like with the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, the final battle, like Sister Lucia told that priest, I forgot his name, or bishop. The final battle will be between the family and Satan, but don't worry, because Our Lady has already crushed his head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's right. So hope. We have hope. It looks ugly out here, right? It looks ugly. Yeah. You turn on the TV, the news is ugly. You go to Walmart, it looks pretty bad in there, Just walking around, not judging people. I'm not judging anyone, but there's certain things in life that you do that stems holiness, or that you're trying to live for Christ. And there's certain things that you do that you did that, if you just look at it, is not stemming holiness, is not looking like you're trying to live for Christ. So it's out here everywhere. But with Our Lady and what she says, it gives us hope and a message of hope, and we have nothing to worry about. But we have to do our part. We can't just sit back and just say, hey, she's got it taken care of. We're going to watch and wait, No, we have to. God wants us to love him. That's why he created us, right? He wants us to love him. He can make everything go away. We can go back to the Garden of Eden or to heaven or wherever. But no, he knew that we didn't give our full love to him, with our first parents. And they sinned, they committed original sin. That's why we all have original sin. And so he knows that we're falling off this path. We're capable of doing that. We're not perfect. So
that's a really good insight. Just how Adam and Eve, they sinned. They didn't love God enough. Because if you sin,
that's right. They had everything. I'm mad at them. When I get if they're up there in heaven, I'm gonna have to tell them a few things because they messed it up for all of us. But no, we're on that path, But we have to. So the message of Fatima gives us an outline. Prayer, penance, sacrifice, rosary, scapular to show your devotion, and living the first Saturday devotion, which is the basic teachings of our Catholic faith. So it's all there.
So we have a viewer question, but before we get to that, I'll ask you just a brief question. You don't have to talk too much about it, but What do you think? I'll bring up another book of Mary here. I got all kinds of Mary and stuff around. That's the Glories of Mary, St. Alphonsus. But yes, what do you think Christians have they can learn from Mary? What can the average Christian take away from the example of Mary? Mary being the greatest saint.
Well, I think the simplicity of it all and her yes. We have to say yes more. God calls us to stuff all the time, but we say no. We'd rather go over here and do what we want to do. So she said yes. When he came, there was even St. Joseph. He don't talk much but his example, he took care of her. He took care of Jesus. He said yes, Was it easy? It wasn't easy. That's the thing. Saying yes to our situation and saying yes to make it better, just like the Blessed Mother said yes when the angel appeared. She said yes when St. Joseph said, we're going to go to this other town and you're going to be, you're with child and all this stuff, all these things through the night, all the stuff that they had to go through. They didn't question God. They said yes. But we're always questioning him. We're like, well, Lord, I'm not really kind of ready for that right now. I got to, my son's got a baseball game this weekend and, on Sunday and we got a tournament, and that's kind of important. No, that's not important. So when he's out there presenting something to you or the Holy Spirit's giving something in your heart and the Blessed Mother's here and really, when you look and venerate her and you look and you ask the Blessed Mother, what do you want me to do? And she'll reveal it to you. But are you going to say yes? That's the key. So it's the simplicity and the yes.
Yes. That was unintentional, but I was going to ask you if you ever read The Mystical City of God, Mary Agreda.
I would like to, but I don't know if I'm smart enough.
There's three other of these books. So it's a long.
See this size of book right here. I kind of stick to those these days. But no, I've heard a lot about it. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I heard it's kind of like the book, So I probably should, but I haven't.
Yeah, you would enjoy it. It's like Mary's biography. So we'll take.
Well, I might have to. Okay.
Yeah, definitely check it out. So let me see if I can bring this up here. What are your views on using private revelation or public revelation in some Marian apparitions for proof of Christianity? Do you think it's a good alternative to philosophical or theological proofs? It's like, is using apparitions or public revelation, private revelation a better alternative than using like theological proofs or philosophical proofs?
Well, I think you have to look at the actual apparition that you're kind of gauging with. I like, a lot of times the best ones are Eucharistic miracles. I mean, you just can't go wrong with those. That really kind of gives you something to base on if you're talking to a non-Catholic and say, hey, look, you don't believe in the Eucharist? Well, look at this. And they're like, whoa, wow, or the ones with the stigmata. It's really powerful because they understand Christ. They understand Jesus died on the cross. That's, as a Baptist, that's a big, they're talking about Jesus and Jesus died on the cross and all that. So that's a kind of a big aspect. But with a Marian apparition, I would look at the approved ones, church approved ones, and how it aligns with Christianity as examples, to use. There are some, and you said right here, they said about private revelation. You hate to get into that because of the, you want to stick with but I'm not saying a private revelation apparition can bring you closer to Christ, no doubt about it. But a lot of times when you're out here talking to a non-Catholic, they like the letter of the law, the legal aspects of it. So approved apparitions, and there's so much information out here on the internet that you can kind of gauge people towards to show them, say, hey, this is an apparition, Our Lady of Fatima. Here's what happened, and go through it. And like Fatima, what I love about it, 100,000 people witnessed this miracle, right, of the sun on October 13th. Who has that kind of? You don't have too many things, where you got that many witnesses, So I would stick mainly to the public revelations and things like that, and the Eucharistic miracles are really good to use. But that's good proof of Christianity to me, on that perspective. You have anything? What do you think? Do you have anything to add on that, or?
Yeah, I think you answered it pretty well. It's it depends on who you're talking to, really. So if you're talking to a really philosophical or theological guy, he'll just kind of dismiss all of that. Or a lot of Protestants have that aversion to Mary, which is really like a really bad thing to have, an aversion to Mary, because there's saints in the 300s that say like Mary's the surest and quickest route to salvation, or like anyone who doesn't have a devotion to Mary like won't be saved. I can't tell you the name of the saint. I think it started with an E, from the 300s, and I can quote those because they exist. So Christians always had that Marian devotion.
Yeah, and I think you can find a lot of theological proofs of Christianity, that's out there. One thing about Mary too, when I was going through my conversion, that was probably one of the bigger issues for me too. And but I had people explain it to me well. I listened to all those conversion tapes, over and over. But I like the idea that Eve brought sin into the world and Mary brought salvation into the world. And I like the idea that we are made of human flesh, right? We are all made of human flesh. Jesus was made of human flesh. And Jesus, as part of his human flesh, came from Mary, his mother. So if human flesh is sinful, then Jesus would have to be sinful, because because Mary would be sinful, but she's not. So Jesus is perfect and she is perfect too. Does that make sense? But yeah, that's how I kind of came to that in my a lot of that in my own thoughts, but yeah, but there's a lot of I think there's a lot of good ways to really get your information together if that person that had the question, if they're really up against somebody questioning their faith, there's a lot of information that you could find and simple stuff that sometimes the theological part, it kind of gets a little wordy sometimes, so you want to try to keep it simple if you're debating or discussing this with a non-Catholic. So
yeah, and I like that approach a lot, because that's really, I don't know if you can see the book, but Saint Bernard, he did a lot of that. He would just pick like a word, and then he would write like his entire homily just about one word, keeping it simple for like the average person. That's really what it takes. They say Saint Bernard wasn't a good speaker. People always like assume he was this really strong man, but he was actually like very timid, very frail, especially after his years of penances. But he just had that heart, and so he conveyed how he felt. And that really attracted hundreds of people really to the monasteries. So yeah, we need a new Saint Bernard. Who's it going to be? You.
That's right. We need a Saint
I'll
Bernard.
try as best as I can.
We need a lot of saints. We need a lot of saints these days to step up, And we know we have them. Every era is going to have saints, And we just need them to step up and not be afraid, face the challenge.
Yeah. Just say yes to
Say yes. That's right.
So yeah, I didn't ask you too much about your organization. My apologies, but
that's fine. We can do another day if we need. We can. I'm sure we'll be talking some more. So
yeah, definitely. So yeah, just do you have like any big plans with the Fatima family?
The only thing right now that we're working on is, like I said, I'm working on that book deal on the intimate life of Sister Lucia. We're in the process of deciding what we're going to do with the museum here. It's kind of one of those things where, I can't sit here all day or I'd go bankrupt. So I've got to figure out something, I got to really sit down and reorganize. I'm always wanting to do, it's just, you're probably a lot like me in some ways, as far as I see ideas everywhere, but I'm only one person. And I just, or work for another organization. Sometimes I think about doing that, getting involved with somebody else and something bigger, but I don't know, right now we're just going to keep doing it. Like I said, our little way, like St. Teresa, the little flower, and just get, promoting our books and promote the apostolate as far as the spiritual aspects of the message of Fatima and how you can incorporate that in your family. And that's kind of what we do. And we're working on trying to help the youth and do some programs there. So yeah, that's just, just each day do something, try to do something. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. So, see, I just had a quick idea. I'm too much of a thinker, as you're.
Don't do it. No.
Get some college students to go to this museum. Like some college students, you don't have to pay them. Just say it's like volunteer service, really, just to kind of watch over the museum.
Yeah, that's true. I've had some elderly people too that came and watched.
Old people are also on the other end of the spectrum there.
Yeah, and I think, but the hardest part is I know the information, so it makes it difficult, So it's just one of those deals where I want them to experience. I want them to leave here knowing the message of Fatima and what Our Lady expects. And when you have volunteers, it's just hard. They just don't. Even I have, sometimes my daughter will come and sit. She's 18 now, so she'll come and sit. But I was like, well, did you show them this? Well, no, I forgot about that. I was like, well, that's kind of one of the, So it's kind of like if you're not here, it just don't happen right, So I got to pray about it and see, and see what kind of yes I get, moving forward. So, and same with you, with what you're doing. Just, I'm telling you, bring it to the Blessed Sacrament and adoration, and it just things go crazy. So for good, things go crazy for good. So
definitely. So I'll definitely keep your organization in my prayers. May God bless it. Not to ask, that would have been a good ending right there, but to ask another question, where can the viewers find you? Like, I know you have that big Facebook page. So what's the name of that Facebook page?
The Facebook page is
I believe it's just Fatima Family.
Yeah, it's Fatima Family International Fan Page is what it is. That's the main one. And then we have our website is fatimafamily.org. And then we have a YouTube channel too. Fatima Family YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So
we're trying. All the viewers, go check out the Facebook page, go check out the website and the YouTube channel. Support this organization, support good Catholic organizations. And so definitely it was good to meet you, John. We'll be in touch, I'm sure, a lot. We can talk after this even, but definitely thanks for coming on today. It was a great interview. I know we were planning to go 30 minutes, but we went 50 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
so it's well worth it.
Yeah, you might get that 10-hour. If you keep me on here too long, you might break that 10-hour limit. So you got to keep it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate you asking me to come on, though. I really do. I appreciate it. And just like I said, just we all going to do what we can in our way that our Lord and Our Lady, have planned for us. So, but I appreciate it, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
All right. May God bless everyone that hears this. And let me try to find the outro. I'm getting back into podcasting. So here it is. Thanks, everyone, for watching.